Imagine stepping into a courtroom where logic bends, the truth hides behind laughter, and justice wears a crooked smile. In today's case, we're not just observing a trial, we're peeling back the curtain on a story so bizarre, it could only happen in real life. Kanye West, a name that evokes a myriad of emotions. Love, admiration, controversy, and sometimes outright bewilderment. He's not just a musician, he's a cultural phenomenon, a fashion mogul, and a figure who often finds himself at the intersection of creativity and chaos. But beyond the glitz and glamour, there's a legal saga that's as strange as anything he's ever produced in the studio. Let's rewind the clock and set the stage for this peculiar legal challenge. It all started when Kanye West decided to enter the world of fashion more seriously. He launched his brand Yeezy, which quickly skyrocketed to fame. The designs, often unconventional and futuristic, drew attention, criticism, and of course legal scrutiny. In the fashion world, innovation often walks a fine line with imitation, and Yeezy was no exception. As Kanye's brand grew, so did the number of legal challenges. But among these, one particular case stood out for its sheer absurdity. This is the tale of Kanye West versus the world of trademark disputes, a narrative rife with eccentricities and unexpected turns. The bizarre legal challenge emerged when a small company filed a lawsuit against Kanye, claiming that his Yeezy brand was infringing on their trademark. This company, a lesser-known entity, alleged that Yeezy's designs bore a striking resemblance to their own. The irony was palpable. Here was Kanye West, known for his avant-garde approach to fashion, being accused of copying a brand that many had never heard of. As the case unfolded, it became clear that the courtroom drama was about more than just trademark infringement. It was a clash of cultures, the cutting-edge world of celebrity fashion versus the traditional boundaries of legal protection. Kanye, who had always pushed against the norms, found himself in a position where he had to defend not just his brand, but his artistic vision. What made this case even more intriguing was Kanye's response. Instead of the usual legal jargon, he took to social media, where he has often been most vocal. He posted a series of messages that were part pleading, part performance art. He questioned the motives of the suing company, suggesting that they were simply trying to gain fame off his name. This tactic, while unconventional, was quintessential Kanye. In his posts, he argued that creativity cannot be bound by the constraints of trademark law. He posed a thought-provoking question: can someone truly own a design? This sparked a debate that resonated far beyond the courtroom. The discussions about artistic ownership and the limits of intellectual property law became a hot topic online, drawing in fans, experts, and critics alike. As the case progressed, it became more than just a legal battle. It evolved into a cultural commentary on the nature of art and commerce. Many of Kanye's supporters rallied behind him, viewing the lawsuit as an attack on creativity itself. They argued that if artists were too afraid of legal repercussions, innovation would be stifled. This sentiment resonated with a generation that values individuality and self-expression. However, the opposing side had their own narrative. They presented evidence that they believed substantiated their claims. They showcased their designs, and while many in the courtroom may have struggled to find similarities, their argument was built on the idea that trademarks exist to protect original creators. For them, this wasn't just about money, it was about recognition in an industry that often overlooks smaller players. The courtroom became a battleground of ideas, with both sides passionately advocating for their views. With each hearing, the spectacle grew, drawing in media attention and public interest. The courtroom, often a place of somber legal proceedings, became a stage for a drama that was unfolding in real time. As the trial approached its climax, the media frenzy only intensified. News outlets began to cover the case extensively. They highlighted not only the legal arguments but also the personalities involved. Kanye West, the unpredictable genius, was portrayed as a champion of artistic freedom. Meanwhile, the plaintiff was framed as the underdog fighting against a giant. This narrative polarized opinions, with some rooting for Kanye, while others sympathized with the small company trying to defend their work. In this whirlwind of public opinion, the legal proceedings continued. Kanye's legal team employed a strategy that was just as unconventional as the man himself. They brought in experts from various fields, fashion designers, artists, and even cultural critics, to testify about the nature of creativity and the importance of artistic freedom. They argued that Kanye's designs were not imitations, but rather evolutions of existing ideas. The courtroom was filled with tension as witnesses took the stand. Some spoke passionately about the importance of inspiration in art, arguing that all artists build upon what has come before them. Others insisted that originality is paramount and that even the slightest resemblance can lead to confusion in the marketplace. As the trial progressed, the public discourse surrounding the case evolved. It sparked a broader conversation about intellectual property rights in the creative industries. People began to weigh in on social media platforms, sharing their opinions on whether Kanye was a visionary or merely a thief in designer clothing. Then came the moment that would forever change the trajectory of this bizarre legal challenge. In a surprise turn of events, Kanye took the stand himself. Known for his charisma and ability to captivate an audience, his testimony was unlike anything anyone had ever seen in a courtroom. He He spoke passionately about his creative process, his inspirations, and the challenges he faced as an artist in a commercial world. He articulated a vision of art as a communal experience, something that should be shared and built upon rather than locked away behind legal barriers. His words resonated deeply with many, and for a moment the courtroom felt more like a gallery than a legal venue. This was a performance, a passionate plea for understanding and acceptance in an industry that often punishes those who dare to be different. As the trial drew to a close, the jury deliberated. Would they see the case as a simple trademark dispute, or would they recognize the larger implications of their verdict? In a world where art and commerce often clash, the jury's decision had the potential to set a precedent that could ripple through the creative community. Finally, the day arrived when the verdict was to be announced. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. Supporters of both sides filled the benches, anxiously awaiting the outcome of this unusual case. The judge took her seat, and all eyes turned to her as she prepared to deliver the decision. In a moment that felt almost scripted, she declared the case in favor of Kanye West. The courtroom erupted in cheers from his supporters, while the plaintiffs looked on in shock. It was a victory not just for Kanye, but for a broader movement toward recognizing the complexities of creativity in a legal system that often fails to appreciate them. This bizarre legal challenge had transcended the courtroom. It became a symbol of the struggle between artistic freedom and commercial interests. Kanye West, a figure often surrounded by controversy, emerged from this trial with a renewed sense of purpose. He continued to advocate for artists everywhere, using his platform to highlight the challenges they face in a world driven by profit. As we reflect on this case, it serves as a reminder that the intersection of art and law is fraught with complexities. It challenges us to consider what it means to be creative in a world where ownership is often contested. It invites us to think about the nature of inspiration and how it flows through the artistic community. In this courtroom, the verdict may have surprised many, but the implications of this bizarre legal challenge will undoubtedly echo throughout the industry for years to come. As always, all characters are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But in this courtroom, the story of Kanye West's most bizarre legal challenge reveals that reality is indeed stranger than fiction. So as we close this chapter, let us remember the lessons learned. In the world of creativity, there are no easy answers. The battle between innovation and imitation is ongoing, and it's a conversation that is far from over. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the unexpected twists and turns of Kanye West's legal saga.